Hey, this is Titus Welliver, and you are listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
To movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Boy, do we have a show for you. Very exciting. Were we off last week? We were off.
We were off last week. I was traveling.
Barry was traveling. And then this week, the three of us went to a convention. Not only that, the other Joes, Daryl and Brian, were at two different conventions. So a lot of convention going. We're going to recap those all probably next week. But this, we have a special show for you. You'll see from the title. We were at Terrificon, which Barry and I went to last year. It was a great little show. The guy Mitch puts on a terrific show, I think. Hence the name.
Terrific show.
Yes.
Terrificon. Yep, it all works.
Yeah. They had a lot of great guests. Haley Atwell and we get stuck on her. But Haley Atwell
most of the
Karen
cast
Allen
from the Superman TV, the most recent Superman TV series.
Yes.
Carl Lumley, whole lot of people.
All of
which
stuff,
we'll
but
talk about next week.
We'll talk about that next week. But we knew Titus Welliver was going to be there, and not only are we a fan of his work, Todd and I are big Bosch fans. We're certainly fans of Lost and a lot of his other stuff, but we knew he was a collector. So we're like, it'd be cool to talk to someone who collects, as an actor and collector.
Get that perspective on things.
Exactly. So
we went into it hoping that maybe we could try to grab a couple minutes with him if that was possible.
Or maybe get him on the show another time, whatever. But can't hurt to ask. So Todd had set it up for us before we got there, right, Todd?
Yeah. They were just kind of setting up, and I popped over and said hi and told him I really liked his work, and that also that, we did a podcast and we're talked about movies, TV, and collecting. So he was game to talk to us.
And he had one of his managers there who was very generous. So they were like, yeah, let's do a show. We'll do it here. We'll take a break and we'll set up in the back, which was super generous, more than we could ask for.
Yeah, we were expecting if we did anything, it would be a quick record at the table. We didn't expect it to be sort of in the back and more of a real situation, which is what it turned out to be. So it was very, very awesome that they helped us make that happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we sat back there for an hour and a half. Not only is he a collector, he is one of us.
In every possible way. And I gotta say, there's things that each of us are individually into that the others aren't into. He covers the whole gamut. Okay? He outpaces us on some of these things.
He goes deep into everything we're into. So we have a kindred spirit here. I can't thank him enough for his generosity of his time during the show, which when he went back to his table, it was a line of people because we kept them going. But there's not much else to say. Listen to this; it's great. We hope to have him back on because we just scratched the surface. He is the sixth regular Joe, I think, and plenty of stuff to talk to him about in hopefully a future show.
But wait, before the interview, let's hear a word from our sponsor,
Fanboy Collectibles. Before we get to Titus, Todd, Hot Toys Killing Joke Joker looks like it's pulled right off the page.
It really does.
Sideshow Klaatu up for pre-order.
Yeah, they're killing it with those Return of the Jedi and Cantina creatures. They're awesome.
Yeah. Hot Toys Kit Fisto is in stock. They're going deep into the old Jedi, which is awesome.
The Padawan Ahsoka is in stock, which I got.
Padawan Ahsoka,
and I got to say, that is just a fantastic figure. It just did a terrific job with that.
Yeah. The Lady Satana statue, Barry, from my friend Brian, whose booth we stopped to. That's one of his.
That's awesome.
One of his characters.
We should talk about that on the next show then.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next show. Yeah, there's his. So Coffin Comics, friend of mine for, as we discovered at the show, 54 years. Yikes. Frightening.
Yeah, I every time I go somewhere with Dave, I learn new things about Dave. So I got to meet Dave's childhood friend and college roommate while we were at Terrific.
Well, not exactly college roommate, but we'll get into that. We lived together after college. So anyway, shout out to Brian Polito. But everything you need, Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and Kotobuki and 3-0 and all that stuff. FanboyCollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them the regular Joe sent you.
And now, without further ado, I think maybe one of our best interviews ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, Titus Welliver.
We are here with collector-actor Titus Welliver. Is that how you like to be called? Or actor-collector?
I noticed you put collector first because I am a collector first, actor second.
We're all collectors, so
Yeah.
you're in good company.
Yeah. No, this
We
is
go
awesome.
way back to, we all met being G.I. Joe collectors, 12-inch G.I. Joe
Me
collectors.
too.
Did
Me
you ever
too.
go
Really?
to conventions?
No, I've never been to a convention, but I've got a lot of. My father had a house fire. I was one of those meticulous kids. I took care of my toys.
Me too.
So I'm of the era of like the original 12-inch G.I. Joes, Major Matt Mason.
Oh, nice.
And all that stuff. And I took good care. And then he had a house fire, and I lost all my stuff. And then cut to 1982. I'm walking down the street in New York, and there was like a sort of a secondhand boutique store, and they had a bunch of 12-inch G.I. Joes in the window. And I went in.
Really? Where was that?
It was a place called Love Saves the Day.
Oh, yeah.
I
went to NYU. I know you went to
Yeah,
NYU,
me
too. I
too.
was in this. I lived in the city since
So you remember
83.
that
I do
place.
remember that place.
And I went in, and they had like so many of the figures that I had: the Marine, the Airman, the Green Beret. And I was shocked because I thought, oh, I'm going to get one of these, and they were like $400.
Yeah.
And, I don't think I had made $400 that year.
yeah.
And but they had the original Kenner Alien.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
And it was $75.
Wow, that's a good deal.
And so the guy let me buy it on time. I still have it.
Nice.
Not a successful toy line.
No.
Sorry.
A
That's
monster
a one and
alien
done,
from an
though.
R-rated movie
From
for
an R-rated
children.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It didn't work. But then I started over the years. I've amassed quite a collection of Adventure Team stuff.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
My favorite.
We're big.
Yeah.
We're all big Adventure Team. Like
Collectors,
me and I
yeah.
had the whole line.
Yeah,
Literally the whole
literally
line.
every toy.
Yeah.
I almost got the Adventure Team logo tattoo.
Me too.
We
was gonna
almost.
do it.
Yeah.
But a guy made me a dog tag, an Adventure Team dog tag that I have,
Yeah,
Nice.
sweet. Yeah.
which I covet. So I've got all those, and then the reissues that Walmart did, and
The Walmart, no, Myers reissues. There were Myers, a store in the Midwest. Our names are on the
back.
packages.
We were-
a
yeah.
friend of ours,
Oh, no kidding.
worked at Hasbro at the time and put our name. And his what?
Yeah, so
exclusive
there
yours?
was a Danger of the Depths reissue.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there was a
I've got it.
computer that came
His
with
name
it.
is on the
My
computer.
name
It's
is
on
on
the
the computer
computer
screen.
kidding.
Yeah.
So our
now I
buddy,
got to crack the box.
you can still see it through the thing. Our
Mission
buddy,
to Spy Island.
That's it.
Yep,
Yep.
They threw an alligator in there. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a little. Yeah, that was kind of what
a little
they had.
hanky.
we actually
You're
helped.
one of us. I just
Yeah,
got.
you
say.
are
You
one
are
of
one
us.
of us.
Yeah.
We helped design the sets for the convention, and we
Adventure
Team
we
sets
actually did comics in
We
the
did comics. We
newsletter
wrote.
for
Yeah,
10 years.
So yeah,
Really?
yeah, all that
it was
stuff.
called
And
The Regular Joes.
And
Now we
that's-
have a podcast.
Where we got the
that's where the
podcast
Joes
name
comes from.
My son just got me a signed copy of issue 1 by Joe Hama.
Oh,
that's
that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and now we're talking.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture when we're done. I have original artwork from the 8 Ropes of Danger.
you. Okay, here's a question. Favorite Adventure Team member?
Ooh, member.
Okay. See, I was a Man of Action guy because he was kind of like my. I couldn't grow a beard at that age.
Right,
so,
right.
So he was my stand-in for everything. He was James Bond. He was all that kind of stuff.
Talking
So,
Commander, hands
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
Talking
Talking
Commander.
Commander. I have them both. I've got the African American and the white one.
Be careful. That African American, the plastic is
they're
so brittle.
brittle
I
now.
know. No. I don't even take it out of the box.
Yeah.
I don't take it out of the box. Okay, so then
Mine's astronaut.
They
Just
don't
because
age well.
When I was 5, I got the capsule with the fuzzy hair
So-
astronaut.
I've still got it.
Yeah.
I still have it.
The
And the reissue.
Yeah.
The 50th anniversary convention. There was a stage skit, 40th stage skit. He was dressed as the astronaut, and I was dressed as the commander.
That's crazy.
And we did a skit with a bunch of the Hasbro
White
staff.
jumpsuit when you're overweight just does
does
not
work.
Doesn't work.
Armies of the world, I think, are the most
soldiers. Amazing stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The Japanese.
I have a full Japanese.
Yep.
I've got a couple of those because I couldn't get them finally, so I sort of like cobbled them together.
Yep.
But those were incredible, with the foreign heads.
It is amazing the detail that they put into those in particular.
They were great.
Even so, I mean, they all were good, but those soldiers of the world were amazing.
No, they really were, and the Green Beret, definitely, that's one of the highly coveted
66,
ones.
67 was clearly the high point for that
It
stuff.
was.
The detail was incredible. It was just all the really, really great stuff.
And the Adventures of line in '69. As much as I'm an AT guy, that line was amazing.
Well, a lot of it carried over.
Carried over.
That's where Spy Island came from. Came out of the sabotage. And
I got to say, this is the last thing I expected us to be talking with you about. This is awesome, but I did not think we'd go straight to G.I. Joe.
Stuff and
I don't want to talk about acting. I want to talk about collecting.
That's what we're here for.
Really,
let's talk toys.
It's more my passion in that way. Not that I'm not passionate about acting, but it's like collecting, particularly when you start. That's my sweet spot when you start talking about toys of that era because, I mean, look, now we have 3-0 and Sideshow and Hot Toys and, obviously the head sculpts, I mean, the detail are amazing. But that, the original 12-inch G.I. Joes, that stuff was, it still holds up.
But what's amazing is that they're 60 and more years old, and they're still there. But these, I love Hot Toys. I have 150 of them.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're so delicate.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh yeah. The thing to me is it was pre-licensing. Okay. It was pre that whole kind of Kenner thing, and you had to make up your own stories.
Yeah.
When you were playing with these things, you gave them the names, you gave them the characters.
100%.
And it was all all in your head.
Sheer volume of stuff they came out with.
Yeah.
I mean. All that yellow. We've done movies of this stuff. We've done so much. With
I've done interviews with some of the old product designers.
Okay.
And, who designed the old Adventure Team stuff. It was just amazing listening to these guys talking about how into it they were and how, difficult it was because they were working on really tight cost restraints.
Really restricted.
The Adventure Team helicopter, they could add a winch if they couldn't spend more than 2 cents to do it per thing. And that's why the winch is that little clip-on thing.
Just twists around.
And it works.
It worked.
But the mobile transport vehicle
my favorite, bar
one
none.
Of the great, the headquarters was,
that was
okay. But at least you could clean it.
Yeah,
you know what I
this
mean?
is true.
You could wipe it down.
I think the trifecta of the mobile support vehicle, the helicopter, and the six-wheeled vehicle with the winch, those are three of the greatest toys
the
ever
submarine
made.
was pretty
Yeah,
boss.
Seawolf. Absolutely
Seawolf
amazing.
was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then we know that they kind of went off the rails after that.
Super Joe.
Joe didn't.
Yeah, they were trying to save money because of
Cost
plastic,
of
and
plastic
oil and all that stuff.
But Mattel, at the same time, they were doing great. I mean, Major Matt Mason, they did the brief stint with the Sea Devils, with the those wire armature, those color form men from outer space.
Aliens with
Yeah.
Zeroids. Did you have Zeroids?
Insane.
Zeroids are robots.
I've got several of them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That stuff was great.
Talk about fragile.
Was that Aurora that made them?
No,
Yeah.
Ideal.
Ideal made them.
Yes.
And Ideal made Captain Action, which for me is still the greatest toy of all time.
That was the first action figure I ever got. I was 3 years old. I got Batman, and we got the outfit before the figure was even released.
Yeah.
And
it was
and he could hold things. That was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
He could hold weapons because he had
Great
the great
hands.
hands.
Yeah, much better hands.
And it was brilliant how they licensed it. That was that was how they licensed that stuff because it wasn't the character. They were they were licensing the costumes.
Yeah.
And so they got around some of the traditional licensing stuff, and it was a lot easier
that was
for
also
them.
back when you could have a toy company that would have DC and Marvel
but
characters
that's what
in
I'm
the
saying,
same
because
toy
they-
line. Yeah.
And
again,
Green
it was
Hornet.
It was
Green
Hornet.
Which is
Hornet,
that's
Flash
things.
Gordon.
I think Spider-Man and Green Hornet are the most expensive.
Yeah,
Yes.
Green Hornet box.
It's
just
really hard
went
to
for some
find.
crazy price.
Yeah.
Thousands
Yeah.
and thousands and
Yeah.
thousands. I've
Yeah.
seen them at Sotheby's auctions, like pristine. They literally look. You're like, where do you find these?
I know. Old store stock. There is still.
Yeah.
We used to get the list of toy stores in across the country and like
Look
who's
through
closing,
old
where
phone
can we-
books and find try to
What's
find
in your
old-
basement?
Yeah.
Incredible.
If
Yeah.
people find
So-
that stuff.
But
It's
Ideal
nuts.
made great stuff, and Remco, like Well, you guys remember when we were kids, the toy guns that we had were great. And they didn't have orange tips on the barrels. Johnny Eagle, you know. I have all those. Certainly Mattel, the Fanner 50s.
Yep.
The Agent Zero stuff was phenomenal.
That rifle thing.
But like you said, there was no log line that you had to follow. So you had these toys, but it was all your imagination. So it was sort of limitless what you could do as a kid.
Yeah.
Playing
the
with
toy
those
designers had a lot of free reign too, because it wasn't IP that they were following.
Not at all.
Strict Bibles.
It was
with.
just make a toy, not fit it into this story. I mean, we joke with the 3 3/4-inch GI Joe collectors because there was always a lot of back and forth, but everything's been handed to you. Here's the story. Here's who this is.
Well, you had the file, but you didn't have to follow that because I mean at that point. I was an adult when the 3 3/4, but I had younger brothers of Star Wars and then 3 3/4, and then of course the swivel arm was the game changer.
Yep.
Because they could actually hold things and didn't do this. But that that whole original line of the 3 3/4 stuff was fantastic.
It's amazing.
Comprehensive.
For my brothers,
for sure.
I remember just being like. And then, of course, Fisher-Price did the Adventure People, so they're going to cross-pollinate Star Wars, Adventure People.
You could use the vehicles for
G.I. Joe.
When that size took off, it was crazy.
Vehicles were phenomenal.
Yep.
I mean, forget about it. I wish I had the flag, right? I remember my brothers had that.
Or I had space for it.
And you see that now?
And that was
the shuttle was...
The shuttle complex is amazing, too.
And that was the thing. With going down to that size... In fact, from talking to some of the old designers, a lot of the vehicles that they saw were things they wanted to make in 1/6 scale.
Right.
But it was just, they just
cost
couldn't do
it. No way.
And so they ported a lot of them over to that line years later.
Well, that was the genius of the Star Wars line, right? You were able to make the vehicles work because of the size of the figures.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
And now they've upped the game with that. I mean, I just, this new Millennium Falcon, and you've seen that... the Jabba sail barge, the katana,
all the HasLab stuff.
I was at Sideshow hanging out with my friends over there the day that they delivered the katanas, and several of the designers and the painters had gotten them, and they were showing it to me, and I went, "Oh, I got to get one of these," and they went,
"Too late."
And then I went on eBay, and they were like $3,000. I was like, well, I
They're
guess
still like 2,000.
I know. I missed that one.
It's crazy.
But I got the Ghost, and I've got the
Ghost
Falcon.
is beautiful.
Ghost is amazing.
The new Falcon's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
But the Ghost is insane.
Yeah.
We got that Falcon from my middle son was at the right age when that Falcon came out, and it's still his favorite toy he ever had.
Well, everybody, and I've got the original, and it's funny because I was no longer playing with toys, and I didn't start collecting until the 80s.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to be my question. You loved all this stuff as a kid. When did you rediscover it and start wanting or then buying?
It was that walking by Love Saves the Day, and I suddenly became acutely aware, and I think on a psychological level it was sort of dealing with childhood trauma of losing all my stuff.
Yeah.
And I started to do it, and then the 3 3/4. And I remember I was living with a girl at the time, and it was we had a fireplace in our apartment, and the whole fireplace mantle was covered with 3 3/4 Joes.
We're familiar with this.
Yeah, we're familiar with these.
And look, the 80s had some good stuff.
Oh, it did. It did.
The short-lived Cops. Those figures were pretty cool. There was some good stuff that they came out with, but then that's when I started, and then. Sideshow came along and doing those military figures in the beginning, and then there was
the Western figures
Blue Box.
also, which were the
Blue Box,
great,
all that Blue Box.
That stuff was
Dragon
great. Ultimate
then.
Soldier, Dragon. I still have Dreams and Visions.
Yep.
The Sergeant Rock stuff is phenomenal.
All that's great.
Yeah.
21st century, even 21st century was not great, but they really upped the ante.
They proved that it was possible.
Their weapons and their vehicles,
Their vehicles
were great. Their head sculpts were lousy.
Yeah, we used to buy
Very soft,
all
yeah.
kinds of stuff. with those and use it for
their
photo
Blackbird
stories
helicopter was one of the
Oh,
coolest.
yeah,
things
the
ever.
AHX Little Bird. I've got 2 of those somewhere.
I've got one in my basement. Yeah.
The Kubelwagen was,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know.
that Kubelwagen
yeah.
was great. Yeah.
And
All
their
that
tanks.
stuff.
They made those, the full-size
yeah,
tanks. They were great.
The tank, the Sherman was great, but Dragon model stuff was really good.
They were the
nice.
first ones who I think really got
The detail, the fine detail
moving
work.
towards Hot Toys type quality. That Dragon stuff.
No, because I've still got some of the cyber hobby, the special editions. I've got the Kelly's Heroes, Eastwood, Charles Bronson, Dirty Dozen, Lee Marvin, a bunch of those. And now the Eastwood figures, those 1/6 scale, the Dirty Harry,
just came out with all that stuff. Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy cool. Man with No Name, Pale Rider, those are phenomenal.
They're making so much stuff now.
It's
There's
just,
so many
I mean,
companies.
and we, all of us collect, but it's just as the quality's gone up, the prices are starting to get, and now they're competing with each other on even higher end with the rooted hair.
I
But
know.
still, you're getting what you're paying for. It's you look at the eyes in the figures today, and it's like you can see the little bloodshot lines.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's like I just got the EX06 Pike.
or Exo6.
Okay. They never let
We
me go
correct
on
them
that.
on that all the time.
Okay. Anyways, the Pike, and it's just like you look at those eyes, and it's like a photograph. It's amazing.
I just saw. Well, I ordered I've got Snake Plissken, the first one that
they
did, and
I
now
have that
there's a
one.
new
It's
one
awesome.
with rooted hair.
Oh, is there really? Jeez.
And the Jack Burton is a great figure.
yes.
And the McCready is great.
I know. Kurt Russell must have just like, okay, I'll give in after all these years.
I think so. Yeah, and I think Nika made a McCready as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
But the 1/6 scale McCready is pretty.
It looks
phenomenal.
amazing. Yeah.
Just yesterday, I got the Dial of Destiny Indiana Jones figure.
Nice.
They finally got a Harrison Ford head sculpt right. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's the older Harrison Ford, but they nailed it.
No, they did nail it because I've got the Hot Toys one.
I do too.
And
I keep the hat brim a little down.
Yeah, and I have the Toys McCoy, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
great.
the old one, yeah.
And the Toys McCoy McQueen. I've got the one in Dead or Alive, and I've also I've got him from Great Escape.
Great
then
Escape.
another company, I'm drawing a blank. They did a Great Escape figure.
That was 21st Century. The motorcycle. The
Well,
figure
there's that.
sucked, but the
figure
motorcycle was good.
But there's another company that did a Great Escape, did the Hiltz figure with the A2, really detailed. I mean, even better. The head sculpt's phenomenal.
Oh, really?
So what I did was I bought 2, and then I kit bashed one and made a Frank Bullet.
Look at this guy.
Oh, nice.
We thought it was like, oh, he's an actor. He may be into a few toys, but you are one of us. Oh, my God.
Dude.
The kit bashing that we've done, how many thousands of dollars do we spend?
I know,
We bought little metal 45s for $50
I know, it's
20
back in
years
the day,
ago
yeah.
when that was a lot of money.
25 years ago.
Oh, no. I mean, and that was the cool thing, because I started doing that, and then when they came out with that brilliant series, The Toys That Made Us,
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved the whole thing that they were kit bashing adventure people for the Star Wars figures.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
the Obi-Wan was like the Aquanaut camper dude with the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
man.
what's cool is that's been going on in the toy world forever. The
Forever.
original G.I. Joe prototype was a Ken doll.
Exactly.
And then they had a $6 million man in the land speeder when they were doing Star Wars.
$6 million man line. I have the whole line.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's too
But it's
tall,
cool. It's
but
very
it's
cool.
awesome.
And Mego blew it, man. When they tried to rip off G.I. Joe, they got that the thumbnail thing is what saved the day, and they won that lawsuit, which I think is cool. I mean, I watched that show over and over and over again.
Yeah,
We've got friends who are on there.
Yeah, really well done.
Yeah,
so good.
We need to kit bash a Bosch figure for you.
We do. So
A guy actually. Well, Rocco Tartamella, who's a sculptor, and he's become a friend of mine. He's made me a 1/6 scale Bosch figure and a bust, and then somebody kit bashed made my character from The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And then Rocco did he just did this on his own. He did a Bosch statue, small, but there's only a few of them. And I've got one, and Connolly has one. And I think there's only like 4 that exist.
Oh, that's cool.
But I'm always with the sideshow guys. I'm like, come on, do a serious Bosch figure. But I think the price point, once they start getting into the tattoos alone,
put him in a long sleeve shirt.
The Deco's going to kill him. I would love to see like the fold out and have like all the guns from the different seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All the weapons just alone.
Yep.
I was like, right when we were doing this last season of Legacy, they had just come out with the 12 gauge auto.
Yep.
And I went, we're getting that on the show. And then they were like, no, the show's canceled. But I'm still going to find a way
to get that,
to work that into some film or something.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Because that weapon, the Terran weapon system is insane.
Oh my God, yes. One of the things that so I'm a gun guy, and one of the things that drives me crazy watching a lot of shows is stuff is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the things at Bosch that really, really impressed me. And I think like one of the things I talked about in our show was in the last season. Your character was involved in a shooting.
Yeah.
And in the next scene, they're continuing to pursue this other character, and you've got your backup gun.
Yeah.
Because no one's involved in a shooting and walks away with the gun.
Right.
It goes in a bag.
Yeah.
And you're lucky to get it back.
He's like, I got to get something out of my car.
And it's like, yes. And that was like that alone. It's like, but every other thing you've ever seen, it's like.
And there was something about how many shots, right?
Yeah,
and you had
exactly.
You hate that.
With the woman assassin in the building.
By the way, that's Taryn Butler's fiance.
Oh, is that right?
Really?
And she is a world-class shooter. If you ever go on his Instagram,
I'm a shot counter. Okay, you fired 7 rounds, and it's like, and then I realized you had a 5.86, and I was like, that does have 7 rounds.
Yeah.
And then you pulled the other. It was brilliant. It was just so much attention to detail in that show. It was amazing.
I wanted to. I always like. I mean, it's. That SIG, right? I wanted to use that. I didn't. I said, well, look, Bosch will have that. We're going to take a deep dive for a second on weapons on Bosch because I'm a freak.
That's all. Do we even need to record this? Because we talk about this all ourselves.
I chose the Kimber. They wanted me to have a Beretta 92, and I went, I hate Beretta 92s. I know they all, and they were like a Glock, and I went, I like Glocks, but I was like, no. He's a former SF guy. He's a 1911 guy. So
absolutely.
I got the Kimber. So one of the things, I had just done Transformers, and so I did weapons training with SEAL team guys because my character in Transformers was a former SEAL. But when I did Bosch, I said, look, they had a tech advisor, and he was saying, I noticed that when you're carrying, when you're going in, the way that you, and I go, no, I ride my finger on the outside of the trigger guard. Yeah, but now we have, and I go, no. This guy served, he's military first. So I'm not going to move like an LAPD guy. I'm not going to move like a cop. I'm going to do it like an SF guy. And they would ride the outside.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Then I got a call from a guy, and then a couple cops that came to and they said, you got your mag pouches the wrong way. And I said, no, here's the story with that. I'm left-handed. I write left-handed. Bosch is also left-handed, but I shoot right-handed.
Oh.
But because of the dominance, when I go to do a tactical reload, I'm reloading with my left hand.
Yep.
So my brain gets confused. So this comes from SEAL guys. So when the coppers started getting noisy with me, I went, okay, you can shut the beep up because these guys were training me, and so I would beer can.
Yep.
I would have them backwards, and guys were going, your mag pouches are wrong. So I got tired of explaining it to them. So then I made a decision when Bosch became when he went to a PI, I thought, well, he goes to the range, et cetera, and I said, he's a PI. Just to stick to the noir thing, I want to go to a wheel gun.
Yep.
I said, but I want it to be a cannon.
Yeah.
So that's a mother effer of a weapon to shoot. But I went out and trained with that, but I had to work with a grip. And then I said, okay, at this juncture, I'm going to have him now conform to the new grip. And so if you notice in Legacy, when I had the Terran and I was in that shootout with those two dirty cops, my grip is completely different. I'm conforming now to this. So it's just little
that attention
we both
to detail is
thought
what makes
that
such a
came
big-
from we thought training came with the Terran, and that's what that was, and that's how we interpreted it. Was
to change it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
And I thought, well, it's okay. You can teach an old dog new tricks. We never commented on the show. Nobody ever said, "Oh, I noticed that you're handling your weapon differently."
Yeah.
But for me, the weapons handling for me has always been a thing that's really essential. Because, I have way too many friends in law enforcement and the military, and I've been shooting since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yep, likewise.
So, and I think if you notice, a lot of times, now back then they didn't pay attention to detail. You look at shows like Miami Vice and stuff, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Holding the guns up in the air.
People sweeping each other.
fingers,
No,
always look for that.
sweeping.
Sweeping is
No muzzle
I point
discipline.
that out to my wife, and she's like, "What are you talking about?
You know,
I'm watching the show." I'm like,
no trigger discipline.
yeah, none of that.
Guys have always got their fingers on the trigger.
My favorite is running on stairs with a finger in
Yeah.
the trigger. It's
the
like
best.
That was that George Clooney movie. The one guy who did that
perfect.
in
was
what was that?
Out of sight.
Out of sight. The guy's
Yeah.
running up the stairs and falls and shoots himself in the head.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that would happen every
which,
time.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Would happen. We actually had a thing where SWAT team was doing a takedown, and neither myself or the tech advisor were on set, and I happened to see the dailies, and there was no one there, and these were all. We've had like real SWAT PD and real cops on the show a lot. But these were all stunt guys. And I'm watching them go up the fire, and they're snaking, and I flipped out. I was like, okay. So literally I had to go into the editing room, and I was like, all right, cut there, and cut to the other guy. He's okay. But you had guys with their fingers on the trigger. You had guys with their weapons up,
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're about to make an entry. So you're at the low ready. But it made me nuts.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
It immediately takes me out of a movie.
Oh, same here.
But if
Same
you
here.
look at actors from back in the day, the reason some of the guys got it right because they were former military.
Yeah.
Yes.
McQueen.
Yep.
That's why all the weapons handling with McQueen
Lee Marvin,
is 100%.
people
Lee
like that.
Marvin.
Yep.
You look at any of Sam Peckinpah's films. You look at the Professionals.
Yep.
That stuff. All the guys that served knew their way around weapons.
Yep.
The Wild Bunch.
Yep.
So
And
for
then
me-
there was a gulf from the 70s through the 70s and 80s where it was just like that, just hand it to them and
No, it was-
point.
it was
just-
terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah. One of my things too is like it takes me right out. I'll see a gun and I'm like, yeah, that gun wasn't made then.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
how
like-
about it? They did that in, I think it was Ant-Man. The guy had a Glock. Everyone wanted to go to Glocks.
Yeah.
But they needed someone, the ants needed to stop the hammer from dropping.
Yeah.
There's no hammer on a Glock.
Yeah.
Or every show, as soon as I pull my gun out, it makes a cocking noise.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the other thing.
that drives me crazy.
When you see double actions or guys that are like with a 1911 and they cock it.
Yeah.
And if you notice on Bosch, I always carried cocked and
Cocked.
locked.
Been locked,
yeah,
of
as
course.
you should. Yeah.
And they were and sometimes even cops would go, "Hey, what's up with that?" And I was like, "Former military, dude."
Yeah.
So-
you got to be ready.
I was watching
this, and I'm for the audience. I'm gesturing with my finger, and they actually put it in a film in Black Hawk Down when a guy says, "Secure that weapon, put your weapon on safe," and Eric Bana holds his finger up and he goes, "This is my safety,"
Yeah.
and that's the way you roll.
I was watching something recently where they were room clearing. In one room, the guy had a 1911 and the hammer was back. And then you'd see him in the next room and the hammer was down. And then you see him, because they were shot out of sequence. And I was like, oh, my God.
I'm not a gun guy,
but-
so I'm just going to say Man in Black from Lost. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you could explain,
There were no weapons there.
if you could explain the last 3 seasons to us, that'd
Nope,
be great.
I'm good with that. I love Lost.
I can't. And that's one of the with Losties. That's one of the most asked questions. Truth be known, I didn't really know who my character was in the beginning. I didn't want to know all that much. And because it was so secretive and they were, all the scripts were watermarked with your name, and I didn't want to be responsible. So I'm in a hotel in Oahu, and I'm like, well, what if this script gets into the wrong hands? Say a cleaning lady goes in and just takes pictures.
Yeah.
So I would have a PA come to my hotel. Everything was sealed with a Mylar thing, and you had to, it was literally like, government
CIA
documents.
level, yeah.
So I'd have a PA come. I'd take the sides up to my room, learn the sides, hand them back to the kid and say, burn it. I don't want it. So it wasn't until we were shooting Nestor Carbonell's origin story.
Yep.
And we were shooting the scene, and we're out in the jungle, and I never wanted the completed scripts because I was a fan. I didn't want any spoilers.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I said, I don't want to read the scripts. And Nestor and I are standing in the jungle, and he says, the black smoke, it came and took my wife away. And I say to him, no. And he goes, how do you know this? And I have the line, I am the black smoke. So we're rehearsing. And I say, I am the black smoke. And all of a sudden, the entire crew, everybody, it's dead silent. All you can hear is like, oh, ah, ah, ah. You hear the wildlife in the background. Nobody's moving or talking. And I kind of stop, look around like, what's wrong? And Nestor Carbonell goes, dude, do you realize what you just said? And I went, yeah, I'm the black smoke. And it just kind of went out of my head. It didn't register. And he went, that's like saying, no, Luke, I am your father. And when it landed on me, I went, oh, my God.
Yeah,
I'm the smoke monster because we'd shot out a sequence.
People have been waiting seasons and seasons for that.
Yeah, we hadn't done the sequence when I come in and kill all the guys and then rescue Nestor from the ship. And then it took on a whole different dimension.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that they gave us, Jacob and I, our origin episode.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I think is a killer episode, to be honest with you. The kids did a great job, but to see how he became the smoke monster, people are always talking about what an evil, and I was like, no, that episode resonates because all the guy wanted to do was to live a normal life.
Yeah.
He was burdened with those powers, and when he was a tragic kind of hero character in an odd way. When he goes back and all of his people have been wiped out, and they have the Senate set and the whole thing when he throws the knife and it magnetizes to the well. I could go on and on about Lost stuff, but I'll just tell you that it was so incredibly cool making that show and being a part of it, and then after watching the episodes, I was able to sort of
put the pieces together.
Well, and remove myself.
You take yourself out and be a fan.
And Bosch became the same way for me because I was so. The writers were so good that I could actually watch Bosch and enjoy it and not be critiquing what I was doing. I was in. I was I wasn't watching myself.
Yeah.
And Harry became sort of his own thing.
So one of the conditions of the producers of that show was they wanted to shoot in L.A. and that was core.
That was Michael Connolly.
Michael Connolly was core to that, and he found
also the casting of Bosch.
Yes,
he had casting approval, and I don't know if you know this. I was originally on the short list with Connolly. He had seen me on a series that I did, Touch, with Kiefer Sutherland, where I played a firefighter who had survived 9/11, and through a series of mishaps, I kept missing the meetings. But when I read the script, I flipped out and I went, yeah, I want this. But you work long enough in this business, and you don't want to want anything too much. And I thought, they're going to go out to every star name. I don't have no chance of getting this. And so fortune came my way in that finally, I was shooting Transformers at the time, so I was all over the world. And I met with Connolly, and it worked out.
I listened to an interview where they were talking about this, and Connolly was talking about this with the producer, and they said you left the room and they just said, "That's Harry Bosch."
Yeah.
And it was just and you know, I've seen the whole series. We've seen the whole series. I've listened to you read the audiobooks. You're Harry Bosch. I mean, it's just like you've imprinted on that character in the same way the character's imprinted on you.
Yeah, it's completely.
It's very, very rare for that to happen.
Yeah.
And but it's also going to, you know, it is a legacy, not to
yeah.
You know, pun. And it's amazing.
Oh, it's a lot of responsibility, and people would always ask me in the beginning, you know, was that a daunting thing? And I went, look, everybody, because I'm a reader, we read a book, and I cast it immediately.
I do too. Same thing.
And you know, they were saying, well, you know, there's very few physical descriptions of Harry in the books.
Yeah.
Except he's got kind of tousled hair and he had a mustache, and I wanted to do the mustache. And they went, no, we don't really want to do that. But I snuck it in by when he got suspended. I grew a beard during the hiatus, and there was a moment where he's FaceTiming with Maddie, and he goes, I kind of like the stash, and she goes, ew, porn stash. He shaves it off.
I remember that.
And I kind of knew. I just went, look, you have to do this with abandon. And Michael asked me, you know, is there anything you want to change about the character? And I said, no. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
He's so beautifully realized in the books. But his military service, I said, that needs to be intact, because that, to me, is at the core of who he is.
Yes, for sure.
And thankfully, they saw that, and we were really able to lean into some of that a lot of the time. And particularly when we did the flashback episode to him being in Afghanistan, and we were really lucky to get Mike Cudlitz to play the character, the CIA spook Edge, who was named after my late father-in-law, Graham Edge, who was the drummer and founding member of the Moody Blues.
Oh, wow.
And he was a big Bosch fan.
Oh, really?
And I've got his name tattooed on my
nice.
wrist. Another little tidbit that relates to that was in the final season of Bosch, season 7. My wife's name is Samantha, but I call her Sam. I put a Post-it up in Harry's cubicle that said "Call Sam," and then there was another one that said that there was a card that said Graham Edgewell, attorney at law. So I just had it in there, for shits and giggles.
That's cool. That's cool. Little.
I don't know if we can swear on the.
You can swear on
totally
it.
Yes.
And so audience, you know, the fan base, they scrutinize that stuff.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden on Twitter, the season comes out and they go, did Harry ever call Sam? Who's Sam? Who's Sam?
Yeah.
So it was like an inside joke with my wife and I.
Awesome.
And, you know, and I came up with the idea of the dog and kind of fought tooth and nail to get the dog. I just said, look, he's undercover, blah, blah, blah. He goes to this place. The dog is sort of his spirit animal because it's this kind of feral creature.
Yeah.
And I remember that one of the writers, it wasn't Eric Overmyer, it was another writer we had, and he was kind of fighting me on it. He went, nah, the dog. And I said, no, I think it's really important. He saves the dog saves him.
Yeah, for sure.
And the dog saves him again. And so we were auditioning dogs.
Oh, geez.
And I went, no, they don't work. I said, this is the dog that I want. And, of course, because I'm a nerd, I wanted, because Road Warrior is one of my favorite films, I wanted Mel Gibson's dog.
Yeah.
I wanted the healer. So we got that dog. I said, it has to be a breed that's hardy enough to survive out in the desert.
Yep.
And those dogs are bomb-proof.
Yeah.
So that ended up not only working out, but I had to kind of, you know, puff my chest up a little bit because there was all this resistance about it. Amazon then created a whole ad campaign around Coltrane.
Oh,
Yep.
And when Connolly said to me, what should we name the dog? And I went, Coltrane. He went, great. So that's also one of my favorite sequences in that last episode when the bad guys come to kill Harry in his house. Here's another little tidbit for you. When Harry goes downstairs, the bad guys come and he opens up the gun vault. There is no basement, by the way, in the Bosch house. That was a set that we built. when he opens the gun vault and he puts on his vest and he gets his pistola and takes out that 5-shot, Mossberg.
Yep.
If you freeze the frame, I got a Smith & Wesson in there. That is the machine gun that Lee Marvin has in the movie Prime Cut, and it's the same machine gun that Charlton Heston carries in The Omega Man.
Oh, jeez.
wow.
Oh, wow.
And you only see it for a nanosecond. We were whores for Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
we put that in there, and cinephiles caught it. Same thing when, if you recall, when we had the dirty Special Forces guys, and Harry tracks the guy to the island, and he boards his boat, and he's going through it, and he finds some of the money, and he opens his passport and looks at it. The name on his passport is Walter E. Kurtz, which is Brando's character in
for sure.
Apocalypse Now.
That's awesome stuff. That's such,
Now, another one, I don't know if you've ever seen, it's my favorite Boston movie, Before I Did the Town and Gone Baby
which
Gone.
is awesome. I just watched it the other night again.
Yeah.
There's a great film with Robert Mitchum. I think it's one of his greatest films, called The Friends of Eddie Coyle.
Yes. Yep.
And he talks about how his hands got broken, and he says, hurt like a bastard. And if you'll watch, you'll notice a couple times with injuries and things, Harry Bosch says, hurt like a bastard.
Oh, that's
so we would, any opportunity
Oh, that's great. That's great.
to throw that kind of
yeah,
stuff
that's-
in. And
I love the
references
Omega
to,
Man. Jeez, I mean,
Yeah, oh,
that's
yeah,
to
that's-
the long goodbye,
Yeah.
the dog food from the long goodbye. We were always doing, and from Chinatown, Lou Escobar.
Yep.
He's one of the investigators in season 1.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
When they take weights to
Yep.
show them where he's killed people. That guy, that cop who gets shot, and Crate gets shot. That character's name is Lou Escobar from Chinatown.
That's
That's
great.
awesome.
That's awesome.
A
to
little
be able to
deep
do that
dive
stuff.
inside
Yeah.
baseball, guys.
So you've got a foot in the Star Trek universe,
Yep.
Star Wars universe, DC, Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay, what universe do you not have a footprint in that you still want to get?
I would really like to get back into the Star Wars universe
Yep.
again.
Yep.
How
I'd
did
love-
that come up?
Well, that was a funny thing. Pedro Pascal is an old friend of mine. He and I did The Good Wife together.
Yep.
Mandalorian came out. I called him up after I saw the first episode and said, fantastic show, great job, blah, blah. And he said, hey, would you ever consider doing the show? And I went, are you out of your mind? Of course. And he went, really? And I went, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. And he went, I didn't know that. 3 days later, I'm in a tattoo parlor getting a new tattoo. My phone keeps ringing, and I was like, something's wrong. Because my wife knew that I was going to be indisposed while I was getting tattooed. So I got worried something was wrong with one of the kids. It's my manager. Call me ASAP. Call him back. What's going on? You've got an offer to do a thing, but they won't really tell us. So you need to call, but your buddy, Bryce Dallas Howard, is directing. I said, okay. So call Bryce. So I called Bryce, very much in the same way I was cast in as the Man in Black. I didn't know, but Liz Sarnoff was a writer-producer on Lost. She said, I need you to take a leap of faith and just say yes. And I went, okay, it's you. Yes. And that was the Man in Black. And so this was the same kind of thing. Bryce said, I know you're shooting Bosch. I said, well, I've just finished my season. So you're available? Yeah, I'm available. Okay. Well, just say yes. And I went,
Bryce
okay.
asked me anything, I say yes.
Yeah.
I
And
know
if you
that's what
say yes,
I say.
then you're going to get emailed an NDA, and then I can have a conversation with you. So I signed the NDA, but there's nothing in the print that says what it is.
Oh, really?
It's just basically saying I agree to shut my mouth.
You don't even know the company? Or?
Nothing.
Wow.
There's nothing there. I sign it, DocuSign it, and then I call Bryce back and go, so what is it? And she goes, it's The Mandalorian. And I go, shut the fuck up. You're kidding me. And she goes, yeah, and I'm directing the episode. And I go, that's incredible. I can't believe Pedro moved that fast. And she goes, what do you mean? Well, I just talked to Pedro 2 days ago, and he asked me if I would ever come on and do an episode of Mandalorian? She goes, this has nothing to do with it.
Oh, my God.
She goes, I got the script. I looked at it. I know you're a Star Wars freak. And I said to Favreau, hey, Titus Welliver is a friend of mine. How about getting him as the Imperial commander? And Favreau goes, do you think we could get him? She goes, no, dude.
Yeah.
He will pay us.
Oh, my God.
He will pay
awesome.
us.
That is awesome.
And that's how that worked out.
Wow.
So, and a funny little tidbit about that was, I love Japanese cinema. Like I'm a fanatic. Harry Bosch is basically
poster,
the physicality of Harry Bosch is inspired by Toshiro Mifune.
Yep.
And for those of you who know who Toshiro Mifune is or know the film Yojimbo, he does a thing where he goes like this, where he rolls his shoulders. If you watch Bosch, you'll see in some episodes where I do that, and that's a direct homage.
Oh, that's funny.
To Toshiro Mifune.
I tried to get a Yojimbo poster. That's what I wanted to have you sign.
Yeah, well, that was my.
I was going to ask about that. I tried to get. That's what I wanted your signature on. Was a Yojimbo poster. I just thought that would have been awesome. But I couldn't.
That's inside baseball because I always talked about when in interviews people would say, you know, because they knew they heard the story. The final straw was they hadn't cast Bosch, and Connolly, they were about to shut down production and then regroup 6 months later. Eric Overmyer walks into the production office with the casting directors. He's holding a picture of Steve McQueen in one hand and Lee Marvin in the other, and says to the casting directors, "This is Harry Bosch." And Connolly goes, "That's Titus Welliver. He's the combination."
Yep.
And lo and behold, that's how that happened. Now, I've always been asked, you know, who is the actor you're most inspired by? And I go, well, you know, Robert Duvall, but and they're like, well, and De Niro and Pacino. I go, yeah, but the most influential actor of my career is Toshiro Mifune. A lot of journalists never heard of him.
Yeah.
And so the thing about Mifune and Yojimbo is his economy of movement. And so I borrowed his stillness from Mifune. So one of the writers knew that, and we put in. It was a cool another little Easter egg, and that's my daughter, by the way, who played that. Now I'm circling back to the Call Sam.
Yep.
I said, you know, it occurs to me that Harry now has this dog. And he's working all the time. He's going to need a dog walker.
I always why is the dog can't be alone, and he had the dog walker.
And so Connolly says, I said he needs a dog walker, and Connolly went, hey, how about Cora could be Bosch's dog walker? And we'd had her on as a little girl in a playground sequence, but now she was older, and he said, have Cora play the dog walker, and I go, and she can be Sam.
Oh.
And that will answer the Call Sam. It's the dog
That's
walk.
awesome.
So it all worked in the canon.
I went through the series thinking something tragic had to happen to that character because there was like a connection there, and it was like I was just like, oh, they're going to make this hurt when something happens to her, and that's what it was because you can clearly see the kind of I don't say a bond, but you know what I'm saying. There's a And I'm like, oh, they're building up for something, and I was so glad nothing happened. But it was, that's awesome.
Well, that was one of the conditions. I said, but nothing can ever happen to the character.
Right.
And also the writers initially, when Coltrane runs out of the house in the shootout, in the first draft of the script, we close with him going through the murder of Daisy.
Yep.
He's going through the murder book. And I said, where's the dog? And he goes, yeah, the dog ran off. And I went, no. I said, here's how it's going to end. Harry's looking through the murder book, and we do a shot looking through Harry's window, and the dog comes into the foreground, and Harry looks up, and he lets the dog back in. And we're going to use the acoustic version of Be Quiet and Drive Far Away by the Deftones. And if you notice, here's another Apocalypse Now homage. So the big shootout happens. Harry's killed the guys. J. Edgar comes down the stairs, and Harry's kind of, you think he's shaken up, and J. Edgar says, "Harry, you okay?" And Harry says, "Where's the dog?" And that's from Apocalypse Now. After they get attacked, they've got the puppy on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
And Lance on the forward 50s goes, "Where's the puppy? Where's the dog?" So another little inside baseball.
So I'm going to ask you another inside question. Was there something with the house that they had the earthquake, right? And the house was damaged. Was it unavailable or something? Were you shooting around something like that, or was that just planned to be part of it?
Well, what they wanted to do was that when Harry became a PI, they were like, well, we want to kind of change it up a little bit and have him have an office. How do we do that?
And that was
And they went, oh, well, we'll have his house red flagged,
the whole
and
structure
he has
thing.
to live in his office and sleep on the couch in his office.
Okay.
So that was that. So it was a season without it, and then I went, guys, the house is a character.
The house is totally a character. That view of L.A. is a character.
That's Harry's eagle's nest.
I assumed it was rented or unavailable or something. There was something else.
I love how
happening.
they explain. How does Harry have that house?
Oh, yeah,
and
it's
it's from the money
from
the
Black Echo.
Yes,
he was like, it was a shitty film that I was from one of my cases that I consulted on.
Yeah.
That's how I got. And that house is in Heat, the movie Heat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That is Robert De Niro's girlfriend. I'm forgetting the actress's name.
Girl from ER.
Amy Brenneman.
Amy Brenneman.
Yep.
Yeah, that's her. That's The View.
Wow.
And then after the first season, the guy spent the money from us renting the house from him, and he remodeled the kitchen. So we had Eleanor showed up. And,
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, by the way, this will tickle your fancy. I have Bosch's Jeep, but the one that was shot up. I have it at my house with all the bullet holes and stuff on it.
Yeah.
The other one is owned and was Henrik Basson, the producer's son's first car. He got we had a couple of them.
What was that?
The Cherokee.
The Cherokee. Well, I'm trying to. I had a '99 Cherokee.
It's an 80. It's like an 88.
Oh, is it that old?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. And then I saw in you're driving the new Bronco in Ballard or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was kind of because I'm a Bronco guy, so I have the 2-door. And when they rocked up with that, because I said, let's get Harry a new car. We'll have him get a Bronco. So that's how on Legacy. And then we were driving around in Mo's car. And
there was a couple different cars.
And and Ford was ready to dial us in.
Oh, really? Nice.
I was pissed. But my wife has the 4-door, but I liked that it was British Racing green.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But it was a little. I was like, Bosch would drive the 2-door. He wouldn't have a 4-door. And then I went, oh no, actually, he would have the 4-door because he's got Coltrane.
Yep.
So you'd have to put the dog in the car.
I love
and then
how
I went,
this
no,
is all
let's go
thought
back
out.
to the 2-door because Coltrane would ride in the front.
Of course, he's riding
Right.
shotgun. He's a Chewbacca.
That's
right. Yep. So
Somehow we got away from the Mandalorian. Did we stop? Did we wrap that up? I don't even remember.
did you pick up the toy? Watching the Mandalorian, did you pick up the toy references in there? I mean, it was brilliant. They made the vehicle that was only ever produced as a toy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my other favorite one was when the guy wearing Mandalorian's armor fired the rocket as the toy.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant. So it's kind of like full circle for all of us,
Here's a question. Do any of you guys own because guys have made the rocket firing version?
I have one. Yeah, I don't have a real one. I have a replica.
No, well, that guy, Skywalker, that dude has got the original prototypes and stuff like that, which are worth a staggering fortune.
Yeah, they're crazy. Your question way back was, you've been in Marvel, DC.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What? No. This is awesome stuff.
I have attention deficit.
That's the best.
That's okay. It's in
and
all
yet,
the best
this
ways.
is probably the most focused I've been in a conversation in my entire adult life.
So, is there another universe that you'd want to set foot in? Like, I don't know, like Alien
James Bond.
or
Amazon
James Bond?
owns James Bond.
Alien, 100%.
Alien.
Yep.
Alien, I would kill to be a colonial marine.
Oh my
Yep.
God!
Yep.
Yes,
Me too. I could totally
Can
see
we do that?
I would.
Yeah.
I would
You can.
really. Yeah. I would love to be in the alien world. I would love to do Fargo. That's one of my favorite shows.
No, Holly's brilliant.
In the sci-fi world, yeah, I think Alien. Everybody wants to be a part of that, and I'd love to be a Jedi. I mean, I'll tell you a funny quick story. I was shooting a movie. Philip Kaufman directed it. It's called Twisted with Andy Garcia, Samuel L. Jackson, and Ashley Judd. So, Philip Kaufman is a great writer and director, but in the end, Raiders of the Lost Ark, blah blah blah. And so he and George Lucas obviously are old friends, and we're shooting in San Francisco. And George Lucas comes to visit to the set. George is very sweet, but he's a very shy and retreating guy.
Yeah.
I would say George Lucas and Connolly are very similar in that way. And so George Lucas comes, and I'm geeking out, but I'm maintaining my composure. Andy Garcia, he says to George Lucas, he's like, George, what I really think you need in the Star Wars galaxy, baby, what you have to have like a Cuban Jedi Knight named, and you got to call him Obi-Wan. Now, Jackson and I lose our shit laughing, as does Phil Kaufman. This was George's expression. For those of you at home who can't see my face, there is no expression. George just goes.
Yeah, that seems George.
That's a George response.
And Sam, Sam.
He's dying to get back on.
He's a massive nerd,
Yeah.
I mean, Sam and I have been friends for almost 40 years, right? So when we get together, all we talk about are comics. And the late, great Lance Reddick also was one of us. And we were doing Bosch, and we'd be in the hair and makeup trailer. Jamie Hector drove him crazy because all Lance and I would do was talk about our mutual obsession with comics. We were both Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu freaks.
Oh, way back, yeah.
So he'd be talking about, I was like, Galassi drew him the best. He's my favorite Galassi, man, And Jamie Hector would be like, y'all are crazy. You talk about these characters like they're real people. And we would look at him and go, they are
real people. Yes.
Us, they are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is a great place to stop, probably.
Yes. Probably.
Well, this is going to be at least a 2 or a 3-parter.
Now, we do.
I'll come back whenever you guys want.
We got to get you back,
dude. You guys are awesome. This has been so much fun. I will happily
cool
come
saying
back.
We're awesome. So that's
good.
Listen
I will happily come back.
Are you
anytime?
Do you live in West Coast or East Coast? Or?
I'm both.
Oh, okay.
I'm both, but currently stationed in Toronto while I'm shooting the Westies.
Yep. Which we're looking forward to.
But I go back and forth.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Just without specifics, on which coast is your screening room, right? That's where you're...
Yeah, that's on the West Coast. Now, that screening room that you saw, that's an older house when I had all my figures.
Yep.
Now it's very, very sparse. But what I do is I rotate. The single shelf that I have has my plasma rifle from Aliens, and I have the Blade Runner pistols.
We all have those.
Sounds like our houses.
Then I am an Aurora model kit fanatic.
Me too.
So I found a guy in Canada who paints them. They're incredible.
I'll paint you
He'll
one.
paint you one.
Yeah, you see his work. It's amazing.
We need to talk.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, those kits were everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I've got Superboy, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Robin, Lone Ranger, Tonto, all those original characters, and then I have the monsters. The only one that I don't have, here's your mission.
Tell me which one you don't have.
I don't have the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I don't have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I can hook you up.
Yeah.
Well, that company now there's a new company that's
we just
doing,
went to Wonderfest.
Yeah, I was at
in
Wonderfest
Knoxville,
this year.
A model convention.
What's that company that's doing they've gotten? I know the Polar Lights got the original.
So there's Atlantis Models, which is based on Long Island, which is doing some of them. But the Hunchback just got reissued by a different company. I think Dahl and Hobby or something.
Well, which is cool. Which we know this shit. but you viewers may not know there are two variations of the boxes. One is Anthony Quinn, and the other one is the Lon Chaney box.
Yep.
And that's not many people have seen the Anthony Quinn Hunchback. The Charles Lawton, pound for pound, is still, in my estimation, the best. Yep. But, like, come on, The Witch.
He just made The Witch.
I just built her.
The Witch was phenomenal. And I need more.
I mean, if you like that guy, I'll mail him to you.
Oh, dude. And The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I'm showing him a picture of the Hunchback. Seriously, that would be in the mail to you if you want it.
Yours is incredible.
His paintwork is
mine.
his
paintwork. No, I can see that.
Yeah.
But The Man from U.N.C.L.E., I have, and you put them together.
You put the two together, yeah.
And they're well painted, but the end of Napoleon Solo's pistol is broken off, and every time I look at it, it bothers me.
People are 3D printing those and like fixing them and repainting them. So
the sports. The sports series that they did.
Yeah.
The Dempsey versus Firpo is a great kit. And the Johnny Unitas, they did Jim Brown, Babe Ruth, but in the JFK, I have the Green Beret.
Yep.
I have a Hulk. The one I don't have, which I really want desperately, is Cap. With the splash.
Yeah.
With him running through the puddle.
Yep, that's a cool
one. That's a great, and I don't have Spider-Man. Ironically, and Spider-Man is one of my all-time.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a question. I know we got to go. Maybe we
don't have to go.
We're going to do a whole.
You're working here
we have
today.
many episodes.
That's right.
Can I just join the gang? Can I just be in the band?
We got a spot for you. You're our people.
All right. Favorite Spider-Man artist. I know this is hard.
I love John Romita. That's like the first book I got.
What I go back to is Romita.
But Ditko was.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean, my first comic book was Spider-Man 154. That was the whole Romita run up until whatever Ross Andrew who took over. But
I love this. I love some of the stories, but the Spider-Mobile.
Right. Yeah. Oh God.
My favorite Romita and Ditko. Obviously, they're
those
there.
are my two.
Yeah.
But Gil Kane.
Yeah, that's one
of my
the number 80s to the 100 to like 100 and something. Those
they went off the rails with the additional arms. But
I was just thinking about
Morbius is great. I mean, issue
that,
100 is great.
I have the run from
awesome.
26 to like 250. I still have it. I've had it for 40 years.
I'm a big Daredevil fan, and I have all
Gene
the Gil
Colan,
Kane's.
Gene Colan is my favorite
Gene
artist
Colan,
of all time.
Terrific.
I love the Frank Miller stuff. Wally Wood. But Gene Colan, for me, Tomb of Dracula, anything that Gene Colan drew.
That whole era was just so fantastic.
His art, for me, transcended in the same way that Kirby, his imprint, well, they all did that. But Gene Colan, the fact that his drawings looked like real people.
Yeah.
And when you look at Daredevil, when you see the trajectory and the motion of a punch or him swinging, where it's like,
it's exactly
one of my favorite Daredevil issues is when he joins up with the Black Panther, and they fight the Black militant group.
Yep.
Yeah, Gene Colan, and then obviously Wally Wood. I mean, look, Creepy and Eerie magazine.
Oh God, so fantastic.
Severin.
Yep.
Both Severins.
Yep.
Marie Ann John. And then who's the guy? He did all the original Hanna-Barbera concept
Alex
drawings.
Toth?
Yes.
Toth. He's got it's not released yet. I think it's in November. DC's releasing a volume of all his DC work, which is just going to be beautiful.
Joe Kubert.
Yep.
Kubert. Oh, yeah. I love all this stuff. Gil Kane. I mean, in Ditko, look at it. It's funny how he kind of follows, because Ditko did the original Hawk and Dove, and then it was taken over by Gil Kane.
Yep.
And the Captain Action was Wally Wood and Gil Kane.
Yep.
Nobody did the hands like Gil Kane, and also he's the only guy who did the fulcrum.
Yep, he had certain poses. You could see a Gil Kane cover. He had that kind of turned foot thing.
Always,
and it was like you could pick out a Gil Kane cover from halfway across the shop.
Well, my all-time favorite comic is Watchmen, and your voiceover for Rorschach was amazing.
I had a great, and part of the agreement for me to do that was I said, look, I really like the movie and everything. I said, but if you're going to do this animated, please don't do this DC animated universe. And they didn't.
No, they did not.
Sell animation, and it looks like
it's
the
beautiful.
panels come to life.
It's absolutely beautiful. Also, probably my second favorite Batman story is The Long Halloween. And you had a part, and
that was fun.
And Carmen Falcone in that. It was just terrific.
I'd like to do, being Lex Luthor was really cool.
Yep.
That was,
I think I kind of freaked the producers out.
The beard was an interesting
It was
choice.
great,
That was
though.
cool.
Well, I had the beard, and I had it for
you had it
for something else, and I said I can't cut the beard, and they were like, okay, and I just said, look, it'll work.
It makes
It
a
worked.
sinister look.
It
for
really
sure.
did,
And then
yeah.
you dyed it black, or
Yeah, I dyed it black. I just said, look, a guy with a beard that big, it lends a kind of gravitas to the character. And then somebody said that John Cryer was talking shit on Twitter about that he originated the whole, and I was like,
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to engage because I know Cryer. He's a sweet guy. But I was kind of like, well, your beard was a little bit smaller than my beard. And Cudlitz, who's one of my best mates, so when they cast Cuddy, I was like, dude, please do he was like, dude, I'm totally doing the beard. And he's a great Lex Luthor.
That was a power beard, though. I mean, in the Titans, it was fun.
Yeah. It was cool.
Awesome. We like that show a lot.
oh, we did.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I
I did
thought
too.
it was great. It was DC for
It was
adults.
Never
Nightwing
thought
and
never thought we would see Nightwing that way.
Well,
when
when I watched it and he said "fuck Batman,"
Yes,
It
yes.
was just like,
It was.
I literally went,
that was-
"Shut your mouth, boy, Wonder."
It's like, and from that point on, you're on the ride, and it's just
I was in 100% for that show.
Yeah.
I was really, and it's funny because I'm actually shooting in the same studios where they filmed Titans in Toronto.
wow.
Yep.
But that was a 3.5-hour makeup job every day because I wasn't going to shave my head for a one-off.
Oh,
But
that looked great.
It looked good.
They were amazing. I had the same makeup artist from Titans.
You have to share the talent, boys.
Yes, yes.
We have said we have to stop 4 times. He just wants to go.
He's awesome. He's the best.
It's
Don't
like
worry.
it's just one of us. We keep finding new things we have in common. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself and say that we have to give you back. We have to give
No, it's
you
okay.
fine.
It's all good, man.
Hi, I'm Mike DeAndrea of United Talent Agency, representing Titus Welliver, and we are here at Mohegan Sun at Terrificon with the great podcast that you're listening to, and I hope you're enjoying the show.
Okay.
I will close by just saying, what a gas this has been meeting you guys, but I think we need to do more than one show.
I think so
agree.
too.
We would
I think
love
we've
that.
only scratched the surface here.
And now I'm hip to you guys, so because I'm not, people are turning me on to podcasts. Now I know where to go for the real deal. You guys are the realest deal of all, and I look forward, to coming back and to listening to podcasts. So for all of you who are out there, this is one-stop shopping. And, if you need a PhD in all topics that are covered on this show, this is the only university you need to attend.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this, by the way.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's great to be with you guys.
Great interview. Terrific guy. Such a varied set of interests, and we hope to have him back on the show again. That would be awesome.
Can't really add much to that.
Yeah, I just hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed doing it. So
Yeah, for sure.
So before we go, Dave, what's going on in Dave's workshop?
Dave's workshop is busy. Without getting into specifics, because I never want to talk about things until I sort of get the display to someone and get their clearance. But I am working on something from E.T., and I am working on something from one of the Thor movies.
cool.
So 2 interesting displays. One has some lighting, one's pretty big. So yeah, those are fun. I mean, everything is different. That's what's great about this. Everything I do is something different. So I'm working on those things right now. But if you need a display or plaques for your props, replica or genuine props, check us out.
or any other collectibles, because almost all collectibles look good with a little plaque in front of them that tell you what they are.
That is true. Yeah. So from davesworkshop.com, or if you want to reach out, you can email me from davesworkshop@gmail.com. Okay, before we end the show, I did want to have a last thought. I think certainly I know all of us are a fan of Jim Lovell, who unfortunately passed away.
Absolutely.
But at 97, you say a good run, which is true. 97 years is a very good run, but this guy had quite the life. I mean, Gemini astronaut, Apollo 8, first ones around the moon, Apollo 13, as we saw the Tom Hanks movie from, but just such a career, and you see him in interviews, just a genuine guy who's generous with his knowledge and time, and really a true American hero.
100%.
Yeah. A giant among giants.
Exactly. For sure. Yeah, I don't think I've ever met him, but I did correspond. I do have his autograph on Earthrise photo from Apollo 8, which is like one of the first shots of the Earth, like from the moon, which was awesome. So
we've talked about this at some point, probably many, many years ago, but I'm not sure if current listeners of the show know that you have autographs from all of the astronauts.
I have autographs. Every man who's walked on the moon, plus some others, but every man who's walked on the moon,
and one who should have,
and one who should have,
and one
sure.
who should have, 100%,
and Mike Collins too. But it's unfortunate. Some of these I got in person. Some of these I got by just mailing them, but I don't even want to count. There's very few of them left. I think there's maybe one or maybe two people still living. Yeah. It's very sad. Yep. Like Todd says, Jim Lovell was. These are the giants, and
yep.
He's definitely on that wall with them, and hopefully, I'm excited that maybe in the near couple years I'll get to add new people who've walked on the moon, because hopefully we're getting that done.
That would be great.
Well, and I don't know that he would have been as well known today if it hadn't been for the Apollo 13 incident and movie, but. Everybody knows, Buzz Aldrin and everybody knows, certain names, but Jim Lovell certainly stands out.
Yeah, for a long time, he was the most traveled astronaut, ever, because he's made 2 trips to the moon, and certainly Godspeed, Jim Lovell. You'll be missed. All right, next week, we're going to have the full-fledged recap of, it could be 4 conventions. We sit at home while the 2 other regular Joes travel
our
all
field
over
correspondents.
the place.
I think Brian will have 2 shows to talk about. Daryl's got 1 show, and then the 3 of us have a show.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be a full episode next week. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Weapons handling. It's none of our birthdays for the listeners.
It's somebody's birthday.
Somebody's birthday.
Yes.
Tracy somebody.
Tracy Wiles.
Tracy Wiles. Okay.
Happy birthday, Tracy.
Happy birthday, Tracy.
Happy birthday to her.
I hope we're not keeping you too long, because
this is great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and we have to have you back on for a video podcast. Which would be awesome.
I'll do it, man. You guys are great.